Hey guys, Roxbox90 here with another card a day in the life of an EDH commander, and today I'm going to talk about actually two cards. We're at video 50, which means Planeswalker time, because every 25 slots I'm doing Planeswalkers. And for some reason, Wizards decided to release two Planeswalkers this week. So I thought before even M13 comes out, I'd give you my analysis of these Planeswalkers, because you really don't need to play test them a huge bunch for EDH to see what they do, because they're not nearly as potentially powerful as Jace or Elspeth were, in that we're not sure just how crazy they are. These are much more balanced and reasonable cards, and I think that it's very easy to see how they'll play out in EDH, at least initially. So anyway, let's start with Ajani first, because he was just spoiled and super excited just because I didn't like the other Ajanis very much, and this one is, I think, pretty cool. So we have 2 white and 1, 3 CC cost for a 4 loyalty Planeswalker. So people are remarking in Standard and Modern and stuff that this is pretty amazing, because for 3 mana you're getting 4 loyalty to start. EDH, not as big a deal, but still, it's definitely better than 1, 2, or 3 loyalty. So no problem with that. +1, put a 1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature. Not very good. It's not great. It's fine, I guess. It allows him to pump himself. But given that he's not going to be protected on his own, where in an EDH where all these big spells are flying and big creatures are happening, the fact that +1 is not going to be really enough to get him up to his final, which we'll talk about is pretty cool, but it probably will never get him there. And it doesn't really help very much. Sure, if you have a Voltron General, it's nice to be able to make it a little stronger, but chances are, if you are doing that, your Voltron General is going to win regardless of his +1. And on any other creature in EDH, it's pretty much irrelevant. So, not great at all. -3, target creature gains flying and double strike. That's awesome. The Voltron Generals will be very happy. In fact, that's probably the reason to even bother running him, is that if you're playing with Voltron, Voltron being your general is the way you kill your opponent. You deal 21 damage with your commander, and that's the focus of how the deck wins. So in Ajani's case, giving flying evasion to your general is always good, or another evasion. Double strike makes it much faster for you to kill them. That's pretty powerful. In fact, that's probably the only reason to run him, because his -8 put X 2/2 white creatures into play where X is your life total. So in EDH you have 40 life total to start. So that's a lot of tokens. Problem is, you're never going to get there. Just to be honest, you're never going to get there in EDH. And in Standard, everyone knows you're never going to get there. But in EDH, it's almost impossible. I mean, even if you get him out turn 2 or 3, and that's how you start the game, come on, you have to get him at least 4 turns up, unless you're playing Proliferate or you have a token deck which runs Doubling Season, stuff like that. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. If it does happen, that's cool. But think about it also, they don't really have haste. And in EDH, where there's so many Wraths going on, even if you get 40 2/2s, it's cool and all, but then someone plays a Day of Judgment or Wrath of God or something, and you're like, damn it, that's annoying. So overall, he's decent in EDH, particularly Voltron and Token. Otherwise, he's really average and meh, not that great, even for his cheap cost. Unlike Liliana, who's kind of the inverse, where she's pretty awful in Standard by most people's terms, in EDH she is golden. She is great. 2 and 2 black for 3 loyalty, which is kind of expected in 4 cost. That's how Jace was, and that's how many of the 4 costs are. Sorin as well. Anyway, so +1, search your library for a swamp card. Key term there. Reveal it, put in your hand, shuffle your library. So many people are saying that they think they're going to bring back, that Wizards is going to bring back the shock lands, which makes sense to me. It seems very reasonable with all the careful wording where it says swamp, not basic land. So in EDH, where you have duels and shocks all over the place, being able to search for a shock or a duel that contains swamp in its name is really powerful, not including you can search for basics, which is great. It means you're always hitting your land drops, and it ensures that every turn you have land access. Particularly if someone wipes out the field with something that destroys lands, and she stays. Most Planeswalkers stay in play from Wraths, most of the time. And in her case, if she stayed in play, she'd allow you to hit your land drops all the time. But the real reason she gets it is you get your color set up perfect. You can get your duels and shocks with her, which is crazy every turn. That's a really strong +1, in my opinion. -3, target creature gets X plus X or X minus X, where X is the number of swamps. So this is twofold, really powerful. One, if you're playing mono black, not only mono black, but mono black particularly, the plus X, you can Voltron your general into a win. Just no questions asked. So that's really strong on its own. But in non-mono black decks, the -X is the main reason you'd ever use that, because you can 3-3 and kill their general, or 4-4 kill their, something like that. Kill their general. You can kill utility guys, annoying combo pieces. So that's, and the fact that it kills indestructible is also pretty nice. But the plus X is definitely a mono black focused. As I run a mono black deck, it's going to be ridiculous. Just trust me. And then the -6 is more feasible to reach as an ultimate, especially because the +1 is worthwhile than in Ajani. Ajani, you'll probably drop him, and most likely in Voltron, you'll just -3 to make your general do a ton of damage. Whereas Liliana, you may actually +1 her a bunch of times, rather than immediately kill herself and hurt something. So her -6 is you get an emblem that your swamps give you 4 black each, which is insane. That's the craziest doubler that I've ever seen. Not even mono black. I just played a game the other day where my brother was using my Mimeoplasm deck, and he Rite of Replicated an Arcana Revenant. Now what she does is she makes a swamp produce 1 extra swamp. So he had 5 Arcana Revenants in play. I killed 1 immediately, but that left 4. So that means each swamp he had produced 5 mana, which is pretty much what her ability does. So I can tell you, having faced that, that's a 3-color deck. Having faced that, it's obscenely ridiculous. It's not fair. It's that good. So in her case, the fact that she gives you an emblem permanently, I killed the Nurkanas with a Wrath, and then he couldn't use that craziness anymore. The fact you get an emblem pretty much means you win the game. It's ridiculous. Think about it. Even if someone clears the field, of lands included, you play 1 swamp, you have 4. That's crazy. That's crazy. And even not infinite black mana in a black deck, it means you basically win the game. She's very, very, very powerful. In a non-mono black deck, she still is ridiculously powerful. So with her, there's no real downside to her, besides for the -3 you can't do turn 1 without killing herself, and the fact that she probably will die. She's a huge target, because she basically means you win the game if you get her ultimate off. So those are my thoughts initially on these 2 Planeswalkers. I've yet to play with either of them, but as you can see, it's pretty reasonable. This is what you can expect. Ajani will see play in Token and Voltron. Liliana will see play in anything, or many decks. Many decks will definitely run her. Mono black, literally no excuse for not running her. She's so good. Those are my thoughts, guys. Thanks for watching. Please check out my channel sponsors below. And as always, hope to see you guys next time. Rock some